Imagine a world where communication stretched across thousands of miles without modern technology, where kings ruled over 50 million people with respect, not terror, where art, architecture, and governance inspired future civilizations for centuries to come. This isn't Rome, this isn't Greece, this is the story of the Persian Empire, the world's first superpower, the empire that taught humanity how to rule with vision, tolerance, and unity. Welcome to History Diaries, the place where lost civilizations breathe again. In this 10-part series, we uncover the rise and fall of the Persian Empire, from Cyrus the Great's dream of unity to Darius's golden age, to Xerxes' epic wars with Greece, and finally, its downfall at the hands of Alexander the Great. So sit back and travel with us through one of history's grandest journeys, the empire that redefined power and civilization. Part 1. The Birth of an Empire, Rise of Cyrus the Great. Long before the mighty empires of Greece and Rome, the ancient land of Persia, today's Iran, was home to powerful tribes. Among them were two, the Medes and the Persians. The Medes were dominant while the Persians were humble vassals, but from these Persians rose a leader destined to change history, Cyrus II, later known as Cyrus the Great. Cyrus united the scattered Persian tribes under one banner. His charisma and strategy inspired loyalty, and in 550 BCE, he overthrew his Median overlord, King Astyages, founding the Achaemenid Empire, the first Persian Empire. Cyrus wasn't just a conqueror, he was a visionary. Unlike previous empires that ruled through fear, Cyrus believed in tolerance and respect. When he conquered Lydia in Asia Minor and Babylon, he allowed conquered peoples to keep their religions and traditions. His most remarkable act was freeing the Jewish people from Babylonian captivity, allowing them to return to Jerusalem. His decree, preserved on the Cyrus cylinder, is considered the first charter of human rights, a declaration of equality and religious freedom centuries ahead of its time. Under his rule, Persia became a model of justice and order. He built cities, improved trade routes, and established an efficient administration. In 530 BCE, Cyrus died while campaigning in Central Asia, yet his ideals lived on. Even today, his tomb in Pasargadae, simple and unadorned, symbolizes humility and greatness. Cyrus the Great laid the foundation for an empire that would endure for over 2 centuries, an empire built not merely on conquest, but on respect and unity.
Part 2. Darius the Great, the Empire Builder. After Cyrus's death, his son Cambyses II briefly ruled, conquering Egypt but failing to maintain control. Following his death, a young nobleman named Darius I claimed the throne around 522 BCE and reshaped the empire forever. Darius was not born into power, yet he became one of the greatest administrators in world history. To manage his vast territory, stretching from the Indus River to the Mediterranean, he divided the empire into 20 provinces, or satrapies, each ruled by a satrap or governor. He established a system of checks and balances, creating royal inspectors known as the king's eyes and ears, who reported directly to him. This ensured loyalty and efficiency, something unprecedented in ancient governance. Darius revolutionized the empire's economy. He introduced standardized weights, measures, and a universal gold coin, the daric. Trade flourished across the empire, connecting India, Babylon, Egypt, and Greece. He also commissioned the construction of the Royal Road, stretching over 2,500 kilometers, linking Sardis in the west to Susa in the east. Couriers on horseback could deliver messages across the empire in mere days, a marvel unmatched for centuries. Culturally, Darius elevated Persia to new heights. He founded Persepolis, one of history's most magnificent capitals, adorned with sculptures celebrating harmony among nations.
His inscriptions praised Ahura Mazda, the supreme god of Zoroastrianism, emphasizing truth, order, and divine justice. Under Darius, Persia reached its zenith, not just in size, but in sophistication. He was not merely an emperor, he was an architect of civilization. Part 3. The Persian Administration and the Royal Road. The Persian Empire's success didn't come from power alone, it came from organization. Darius's administrative system became the blueprint for future empires. Each satrapy collected taxes, maintained armies, and governed local laws, but ultimate authority rested with the king. Satraps were powerful but carefully monitored. The royal inspectors ensured no rebellion brewed in silence. The royal road became the empire's lifeline. Stretching from Sardis to Susa, it allowed rapid communication and trade. Relay stations with horses were placed every 25 miles, enabling messages to travel over 2,500 kilometers in less than 10 days, faster than any system in the ancient world. Merchants, officials, and travelers could move safely under royal protection. This infrastructure transformed Persia into a global hub of commerce and culture. The empire also used a postal system and uniform coinage, revolutionary ideas that shaped economies for centuries. While others ruled by conquest, Persia ruled by connectivity. This administrative genius allowed the Persian Empire to govern over 50 million people, roughly 40% of the world's population then. Such control with minimal unrest was unmatched until the rise of Rome centuries later. Part 4. The Glory of Persepolis. To symbolize Persian greatness, Darius built Persepolis, a city like no other. Constructed on a vast terrace near modern Shiraz, Persepolis became the ceremonial capital of the empire. Massive stone staircases, carved reliefs of tribute bearers from all corners of the empire, and grand palaces reflected the diversity and unity of Persian rule. Assyrians, Egyptians, Indians, Greeks, all were shown bringing gifts, symbolizing peace under Persian harmony. Darius's successors, especially Xerxes I, continued to expand Persepolis. The Hall of 100 Columns and the Apodona Palace showcased incredible craftsmanship and artistic excellence. Gold, lapis lazuli, ivory, treasures from across continents adorned its halls. Persepolis wasn't just a capital, it was a statement. It declared to the world that the Persian Empire was not built on destruction, but on civilization. When Alexander the Great later burned it in 330 BCE, he reportedly regretted it, calling it a crime against culture itself. Part 5. Xerxes and the Greco-Persian Wars. After Darius's death, his son Xerxes I inherited the throne in 486 BCE. Unlike his father, Xerxes sought to conquer Greece, a land that had defied Persian power. He assembled one of the largest armies in history, over 200,000 soldiers, supported by a massive fleet. Crossing the Hellespont using floating bridges, Xerxes invaded Greece in 480 BCE. The Greeks, though divided, stood united under the leadership of Sparta and Athens. At Thermopylae, 300 Spartans led by King Leonidas made their legendary stand. Though defeated, their sacrifice inspired the Greek resistance. Soon after, the Greeks won decisive victories at Salamis, Naval, and Plataea, forcing Xerxes to retreat. Persia remained powerful, but lost its aura of invincibility. The Greco-Persian Wars became a turning point, the moment when East and West collided, shaping the course of world history forever. Part 6. Persian Culture, Religion, and Society. Persia wasn't just powerful, it was enlightened. Under the Achaemenids, diverse cultures thrived. From Egypt to India, people worshipped freely and practiced their traditions. The empire's religion, Zoroastrianism, preached duality, good, Ahura Mazda, versus evil, Angra Mainyu. Its ideas, heaven, hell, and judgment after death, deeply influenced later religions like Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Persian art blended styles from across its provinces: Mesopotamian, Egyptian, Greek, and Indian. Their architecture emphasized harmony and strength. Stone columns, bull capitals, and monumental gateways symbolized divine power and unity. The Persians also developed advanced irrigation, the Qanat system, and built one of the first human rights-based societies. Women could own property and engage in trade, a rarity in the ancient world. Part 7. Governance, Law, and Innovation. Darius's reforms introduced standardized taxes, codified laws, and record-keeping systems written in multiple languages. Persian bureaucracy was efficient. Archives from Persepolis reveal detailed accounts of laborers, pay, and resources. Their military organization was equally advanced. Elite soldiers known as the Immortals, a 10,000-strong unit, ensured stability and royal protection. Persians pioneered multicultural governance, allowing regional autonomy while maintaining imperial unity. It was this balance that kept the empire peaceful and prosperous for centuries. The empire's influence spread far beyond its borders, shaping governance models later adopted by the Greeks, Romans, and even modern states.
Part 8. The Fall of the Achaemenid Empire. By the 4th century BCE, Persian power began to weaken. Corruption spread among satraps, and royal succession became chaotic. The once efficient administration grew sluggish, and revolts rose across provinces. In 334 BCE, a new power emerged: Alexander of Macedon. With his lightning campaigns, he crossed into Asia Minor, defeating Persian armies at Granicus, Issus, and finally at Gaugamela in 331 BCE. The last Achaemenid king, Darius III, fled, but was betrayed and killed by his own men. Alexander marched into Persepolis and, in an act of vengeance, set it ablaze. The world's first great empire had fallen, but its influence would live on for millennia. Part 9. The Legacy of the Persian Empire. Even in defeat, the Persian legacy endured. Alexander admired Persian administration so much that he adopted many of its systems. The concept of satrapies, royal roads, and imperial bureaucracy became standard models for later empires. Persian art, architecture, and religious thought influenced Greece, Rome, Byzantium, and the Islamic caliphates. Zoroastrianism's moral code shaped the spiritual worldview of later civilizations. Most importantly, Persia's philosophy of ruling through tolerance and respect set a precedent for modern governance, proving that strength lies not only in might, but in understanding. Part 10. Persia's Eternal Echo. Today, when we speak of civilization, justice, and unity, we echo the voice of ancient Persia. From its royal roads to its universal currency, from Cyrus's human rights to Darius's governance, the Persian Empire built the foundation of the modern world. Empires have risen and fallen, but Persia's ideals live on in our political systems, architecture, and moral values. It taught the world that the greatest empire is not the one that conquers lands, but the one that wins hearts.